So there's a new expression of Evan Williams on the market, and as I'm a huge fan of the bonded, of course I have to try it. But first, a bit of backstory. In late 1996, Heaven Hill, which is the distillery that makes Evan Williams, suffered a massive fire, losing their distillery and almost 100,000 barrels of whiskey. And to stretch out what was left of their supply, they lowered the ABV of some of their brands. But that was a long time ago, and the new master distiller has been taking a look at restoring some of those old labels to their former glory. And this new expression of Evan Williams is the first bottle with that aim. This is Evan Williams 1783 Small Batch. It's a blend of 6 to 8 year old Heaven Hill bourbons, and it's bottled at 45% ABV. And it's called 1783 because that's the year that Evan Williams started distilling. So let's check it out. Quite delightful nose. Baking spices are obviously there, but I get a little bit of candied cherry. And based on the nose, I'm guessing this is going to be on the hot side. Let's check it out. And that is very nice. It doesn't have a ton of depth of flavor, but at $18 a bottle, I don't know that I expect that. It does have a pleasant heat though, and it is a bit more viscous than I would have expected at this price point. Baking spice, vanilla, and a short to medium finish. Now I do talk a lot about how much I enjoy the bonded, so I might as well compare the two. This is Evan Williams Bonded. Cheap, delicious, and available. I used to work at a place that kept this in the well. Good times. More spice on the nose, a little bit more heat, and less of those characteristic honey and vanilla notes. The spice dominates here. Man, that's good. This is a little bit more corn forward than the previous expression, if that makes any sense, and it is a bit hotter. But yeah, this delivers. I've dumped dozens of bottles of this stuff into punches for friends, and I think it's a great introduction to sipping whiskey. And it is spicier. Overall, this is quite distinct over the previous expression. This is a good time to point out that the liquor store that I got the 1783 from sells that and the bonded for $18 a bottle. So since they're both the same price, rather than being presented as a lower priced alternative, this is kind of a different animal. And even though it's only 5% higher ABV, I do prefer the burn of the bonded. But in terms of flavor, I kind of prefer the 1783. If I could get that with the heat of the bonded, we'd really be onto something, but what do you expect for under $20 a bottle? But I've got one more trick up my sleeve. Since we're talking about 6-year-old Heaven Hill product, I might as well compare it to this. This is Heaven Hill Bonded. 6 years old, bottled in bond, and sadly, extinct. If you know, you know. I need more Glencairns. Support me on Patreon so I can buy more Glencairns. It's a joke, I don't have a Patreon. And this one still tops them both. Not as hot as the bonded, but lovely notes of caramel and burnt sugar. And as the bourbon woke know, sadly extinct. If you have a lead on where I can get some more of this, hit me up. Because yeah, that's lovely. So back to the 1783. Is it a sipping whiskey, a mixing whiskey, or a dumping whiskey? At the under $20 a bottle price point, many whiskeys are dumping whiskeys, but obviously this is not one of them. It's definitely a mixing whiskey, but in my opinion it's also a sipping whiskey, another gateway drug for newcomers. I fully expect to sub it in for my trusty bonded in future bowls of punch, and who knows, might eventually take its place, because the flavor is nice. Cheers.
Turn camera.